Okay, guys, so the October 2020 tier list is here, and we have quite a few new additions this time. First of all, in this month we have had Cosmic Ghost Rider and Red Goblin, and then last month we had Apocalypse and Professor X, and the month before we had, I'm pretty sure, Dragon Man and Sasquatch. So in the recent months we've had quite a few new champions, and we're going to be looking at all the champions released this year 2020, but focusing on the newest champions, Red Goblin and Cosmic Ghost Rider. So starting off, the only champion to be in Beyond God tier this year so far is Cosmic Ghost Rider. So he hasn't been out too long, um, unless you've bought crystals and got a very lucky pull of him as a 5-star. You've only seen gameplay on the content creator beta, so this is it's a bold move by me. But after the gameplay I've seen and the crazy damage he is able to do, I believe he deserves this Beyond God tier spot. I mean, he's just crazy. He's bleed immune, he's incinerate immune, he has crits, he has furies, he's everything. He's like a Hyperion on steroids. He's just crazy. And if you see him in a Realm of Legends fight or watch one of Seaton's videos, it's just crazy. Crazy champion. And I think he's going to be great for so much. He is a bit frustrating. You have to get that SP3 first, like Namor, to start the damage rotation. But there's a bit of skill to playing him, but I don't think he'd be the hardest champion. And if you got him at any stage in the game, I'm pretty sure he'd be very helpful. And then the next release we had was Red Goblin, um, who I was slightly disappointed in, I'd have to say, because I thought he looked like a cooler champion than Cosmic Ghost Rider, and Cosmic Ghost Rider is known in the comics as being a very much more powerful champion probably than Red Goblin. But I just thought, oh, Carnage and Red and Green Goblin, like, oh, can we make Green Goblin a good character? Obviously not as him, but as another character, because Carnage is really good in this game. He's like god tier, and Green Goblin is like decent. But I put him in Demigod, and it's the upper end of Demigod because I think he's almost god tier. But the rotation is so unpractical, and the damage isn't like that good enough to make it that you'd want to play him all the time. I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's just not a practical rotation, and unless you have him as like a 6-star rank 3, which some gameplays I've seen have, he's not gonna look as amazing as like a 3 or 4-star, unless he's like a 5-star maxed out or a 6-star rank 2. So those are the latest champions that have been released in October. And then after that we have had Apocalypse and Professor X, which I've both put in God tier right next to each other because I believe these two champions are fantastic additions for the mutant class with all the synergies that Apocalypse and Professor X have, but also for their own utility on their own. So Apocalypse is able to stop evade after someone's evaded 10 times, so not too practical, but it becomes immune to any effect such as bleed, poison, incinerate, anything like that, if he has had it tick on him for a few seconds and then he becomes immune. So that's pretty cool. He has immunities that he develops. Obviously, if the poison's too strong or something, then it could be a bit deadly, but it works if he's at a good health and he can get that immunity, so he can go on biohazard paths and other things. So that's great. He just has really, really powerful special attacks, really strong special attacks. He's quite easy to play. Managing those debuffs is really easy now because of this heavy attack he has through block, which is really amazing. And it's because he stuns the champs if he hits into their block, which means then you can intercept with a heavy. So that's pretty amazing. So Apocalypse is a big boy powerhouse special attack man with lots of debuffs, lots of damage. Yeah. And then next, Professor X, also a very good damage dealing champion in terms of special attacks. Great with a power booster. That SP2 hits like a truck. Building up those channeling charges is pretty cool. He's got a miss mechanic. Fairly complex champion, really. Great synergies as well. Same with Apocalypse. Makes most champions great. So yeah, both of those champions, I'd have to say, I think I'd want either of them. Honestly, they just look so good, and Apocalypse can be used in variant 3 because he's massive. I mean variant 2. And then next up we have Dragon Man. So Dragon Man, I was like, who the hell is this guy when he came out? But now I know who he is, and he's a metal. I didn't even know he was a robot dragon. So he's immune to bleeding poison. He breathes fire, so he does incinerate. He has this thing where if the opponent's in the corner, he deals extra energy damage like Red Hulk, and he hits like a truck. Um, yeah, he's a crazy, crazy cool champion. He's tech as well, so variant 3 would be pretty cool. He's also XL, so he could be variant 2. So he's quite diverse in utility. I don't think there's any other tech champion which is XL. Um, so he's quite useful for that. Anyway, the other champion that was released alongside him was Sasquatch, who is a fairly good champion, but he's not as good as Dragon Man, and that's why he's in Demigod, because he takes quite a while until he gets into his Wrath of Tanarak, but when he's in Wrath, he deals a lot of damage, and the ruptures he puts on his opponent deals lots of extra damage. So once he's in Wrath of Tanarak, he's a very good champion, but on his own, without that, you got to wait a while. He's very basic. I think he is Cold Snap immune, but yeah, he's a pretty decent champion. There's also Big Boys XL, so variant 2. We've got a few XLs here, so that's pretty cool. Now I'm not sure who was released next, so I'm just gonna go along with who I've got the rest of got here, and I put Red Guardian, Longshot, and Mojo. So Red Guardian, a lot of people seem to love this guy. If you have him, you love him. If you don't, you just don't understand his use in the game, and I don't. So I have to watch gameplays, and now I understand. And he hits like a damn truck when he gets that debuff on them, and that extra damage really piles up. He's quite hard to maintain, so he needs a bit of SIGs, but other than that, he's quite a great champ. He's also got that really good perfect block, and he can block unblockables, which will destroy his shield momentarily, but it saves you a bit. Longshot, just a mystic god, just nullifies everything, does damage. He's like a morning star on crack. And Mojo could be demigod. He's just about there, and he's another mystic champ who's nearly as good as Longshot, but he doesn't work as well. He's not great at nullifying. He nullifies buffs that come and go, not ones that are permanent. So not as great. Anyway, Hitmonkey, Guardian, Sorcerer Supreme, Tigra, Squirrel Girl, Black Widow, Deadly Origin are the next champions. So Hitmonkey, Bleed Master, because he's skill. Pretty cool champion. I know a few people like Legacy with rank 3. This guy's a 6-star, which is pretty crazy, I think, because he's not that amazing, I think, but if you get those crits up, he's pretty good. Guardian is a really cool champion, I think. I think I prefer him over Hitmonkey, actually. Lots of special attack damage, pretty bursty, like a Sunspot for the tech class, but less effective, probably. Lots of shock damage. Yeah, pretty cool character. Sorcerer Supreme, one of my favourite mystics when I got her as a 5-star. Very cool playstyle. She's got slow debuffs. She's got a bit of power control. She's got big special attacks. She's a pretty diverse mystic. Then we got Tigra. I literally got a comment the other day about how good you think Tigra is, and I'm like, I think Tigra is pretty decent, but not enough people have her, I think, or play her to know how good she is. And I think that in the future, her heavy attack, which means she can dodge like Cyclops' beam because she's crouching, could be implemented into lots of other characters with certain dodging techniques to add a more diverse playstyle. So that's pretty interesting. And she also has lots of those, I don't know what they're called, they're like ruptures for Sasquatch, but these mystic debuffs. But I definitely wouldn't say she's the best champion, but don't sleep on her. Then Squirrel Girl, who was released a while ago, we know she's bleed god, like a lot of skill champions. And then Black Widow Deadly Origin, who's a skill champion with the shock. The shock is that she puts lots of shocks on the opponent. I'm not a big fan of her. I think she's a lot of investment and not much reward. But you know, if you like her, you like her. I can't disagree. Then we've got Storm at Pyramid X, who is quite good champion, good special attack damage. At the beginning, we were calling her a sunspot, but then we found out that she's not a sunspot because her damage takes quite a while to ramp up, and it's quite a hard playstyle. You know, she's got to charge that heavy attack, get to 100, then let off a SP2, and it's just quite difficult to play. But I might, just because I think people might get frustrated, I'll put her up to Demigod, somewhere there, because I think decent was a bit too harsh, seeing as we got Airwalker, Platinum Pool, Terrax, and Nova. We all know why those guys are decent. And last of all, meme tier Mole Man, because he's atrocious. He probably could be decent, but I just can't. Mole Man is such a disappointment. He's not even Mole Man, it's Mole Man and his flipping blob, whatever he's riding on, is the main thing. Anyway, the main part of this is the fact that Cosmic Ghost Rider is beyond God tier, a fantastic champion. If you ever get him, max him out. He's going to be so cool. I know everyone's going to be wailing out for this guy. The early access crystals went out, and I know lots of people are going for him. I don't know anyone who really got him as a good thing, like past 4-star, but yeah, I'd say the last few months have been pretty good. Red Goblin, Cosmic Ghost Rider, great additions. And Apocalypse and Professor X, I'd say 4 great champions in 2 months. Some of the best we've ever had. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. We're trying to hit 700 subscribers. So that'd be really cool. And thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you agree, disagree. I'm always willing to reply. And once again, thanks for watching, guys. And I'll see you in the next video.